there's so much drama around microsex. It's never been particularly interesting to me. But I understand why it is interesting. It just for some reason it just doesn't click to me. So like, oh, I got to know about this. It's just like, okay.
Okie doke.
I'm sorry. It's like really, you're like, oh, why? I'm like, I'm just not. It's very Doesn't it affect your opinion at all that apparently like for making the documentary were so dogmatic about it?
It wasn't. There was very little. If you watched it, you would know that it isn't.
But I've heard they've done things
those...
like falsify evidence, and I heard they did something dodgy.
If they did, then it wasn't very obvious.
Okay.
But from what I know, that there was no monetary motivation, only because everything was thrown out. They tried to go for the estate. The judge said it's too late to try to take money from the estate for this, so it couldn't proceed, and then they made the documentary.
Okay. But so nothing can ever come of this, right?
No. I mean, are you there?
Yeah. I'm just triggered at something I did though.
What did you do?
I made a bad move in the chess game.
No.
It's not a big deal. I'll win it anyway.
I feel very uneasy tonight. I don't know. It could be just the weather, but like, I'm getting very uneasy vibes.
Just shit.
Hmm?
Yeah. I don't think it's a particularly good night either.
What's that mean?
Means I just don't feel. Unless you're a weird noise or something. I don't think someone's in the room, but I just like.
Well, no, I mean, like, say Zark approaches you from behind, you can detect that somebody's in the room, right?
Well, yeah, but that's usually from like a lot of little details. She's probably like hearing stuff in the background.
It's probably not that, like, because humans have like some kind of perception where, I don't know, air pressure changes in a room when there's a body that moves through it. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's my point though. At some level, we're physically noticing something.
Yeah, that's the feeling I'm getting now. It's really unusual for tonight. Your stalker is
still there.
To be honest, I've got up twice and checked every nook and cranny.
Have you checked under your bed?
I have checked under my bed, yes.
Have you checked inside your mattress?
I would notice. My mattress is so thin, I would notice if somebody was inside my mattress.
Maybe the guy's thin. You don't know.
That's very thin.
Maybe someone came into your house and installed cameras.
And they what? Installed cameras?
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's Michael Jackson coming back from the dead.
Very skinny Michael Jackson hiding in my mattress.
That's why he took off his nose, so he can fit into the mattress without having a... This is why he looks like the old white lady before he died.
I'm pretty sure that was the vitiligo, but okay. I don't know, just because he's a superstar doesn't mean you can make fun of his medical condition. Poor guy.
I can make fun of his looks. He was a public person.
Sure. But that means we can make fun of your looks.
No, I'm a private individual, you see.
Is that the rule, is it?
Yes. I don't hold any political office. I'm not a famous person, so no, rude. Not allowed me. That's the rule.
Okay.
You can always punch up, never punch down.
What about punch across?
That's fine too. This is why beating children is illegal in a lot of countries. They're small, right? So you have to punch down.
Mm-hmm. Where are you going to today?
No, I bought some topsoil and fucking water thingy.
Oh, okay. You bought some dirt?
Yes, I bought some dirt.
Why don't you mulch and make your own topsoil?
What? Why don't I what?
Mulch.
Because we send our compost away to be biofuel.
Oh. For money?
Yeah, they'll remove the rest of your trash for free if you sort your food waste into a separate thing.
Well, that's nice. We should do that here. How can they determine whether or not you have enough food waste?
I don't know.
Or is that just based on trust?
I think it's just...
Hmm.
Granted, we pay for the bin.
You're paying for the bill?
No, we had to pay for the bin.
Oh, the
Like
bin.
the bin.
Okay. The composting bin.
Yes.
Well, I think that's a good deal. Can you put paper in the composting bin?
Yes. Yes, we can.
I wonder if it's more efficient. Sorry?
No, go ahead.
I wonder if it's more efficient to recycle paper or to compost paper.
Well, we can only recycle cardboard or newspaper are the only two recyclable papers.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure we can recycle pretty much any kind of paper.
Also, paper packaging is also recyclable, but napkins, other pieces of paper, junk, fucking mail, advertisements, shit, those aren't recyclable.
Julius, can we recycle mail?
I don't know. Probably it's paper, right?
Yeah. It's got
No
a bit
reason
of
why we
plastic in it,
can't.
though.
Because if we put, like, the majority of those types of papers goes into the furnaces for the waste to energy program.
Mm.
Newspaper is actually being recycled because they just remove the ink and reuse the paper, sort of.
Mm. Newspaper is very good for cleaning glass on cars, car windows.
Mm-hmm. Just remember to remove the small staples.
Yeah.
We don't have staples in ours.
You don't? What do you have?
Nothing.
I'm pretty sure our newspapers just don't have staples, dude.
How do they stick together? Glue?
No, they're not magazines, they're newspapers.
Yeah, all newspapers have staples.
Yeah, ours don't. I don't think if... dude, could you not hot mic like that? If you've got something to say, say it, but don't just, like, randomly make noises. Yeah, dude, I guess they're literally, like, loose, but they're just, like, printed, so they're, like, in a thing, and then they're folded in a particular way, so they'll generally stay together unless, like, the newspaper's really grippy, so yeah. It's just a different type of paper. It just generally doesn't come apart particularly easily.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, for the record, that was just my alarm, and I was laughing at the same time my alarm went off.
That's alright.
Yeah, I'm not a dick.
Fine. You're just surprised by the fact that you didn't know it.
Yeah. I was like, they're just like paper that's like folded together. I don't know if it's ever not been like that.
But do the English also not have staples?
No, we just have like just folded together. I'm pretty maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's how newspapers are across, like, most of the English-speaking world. Like, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, America, England, etc. Least that I'm aware of.
Maybe they just trust us more. They shouldn't.
It's weird.
So wait, do you have like paper clips?
No,
do you have like
said this-
staples? Sorry. Do you have staples in your newspapers that you are?
Well, Steele's does, but that's much more like a magazine.
Well, our tabloids sometimes have staples.
So like magazines do.
No, magazines are glossy paper.
Glossy paper.
I don't know what you're talking.
All magazines are glued.
Okay.
They're not staples.
Why are you in such a mood today, Julian?
I'm fine. Don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
You're saying the word okay. Is there a problem with that?
Oh, okay. No, there's no problem, Julius.
You sound like you're in a mood, Ryan.
No, you're in a mood.
Okay.
Everyone's in a mood. There you go.
Is anyone here from like the UK?
No, I don't believe so. Not at the moment.
No. We've just had like the first couple of good sunshine for the year, so that's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, we.
Across the fucking highway.
So like apparently there was a conversation this morning. I think I just got the announcement from Achilles.
Oh yeah, he did that as a prompt to see if anyone to try and get some discussion going.
Was there a discussion?
Yeah, there was a few mostly scattered across different text chats, and I mean the rest of us have had that debate dozens of times. So
Yeah.
What debate?
morality, moral systems, etc.
Oh god, no. Please.
What?
I don't like
It's
that
nothing.
debate.
If you can't justify your moral stances, you can't really justify your politics.
I couldn't justify anything. I just don't like that debate.
Sorry, what was that?
I said I can justify my moral stance, but I just don't like debating that.
Well, that's effectively what you end up having to debate when you talk about politics.
Not necessarily. Sure, to some extent, but not necessarily.
Why not necessarily?
Largely.
It depends on your debating actual processes behind it. Like, if basically the policy and just arguing ways to implement it, you don't need to get morals into account.
More often than not, that's what you end up talking about because there's different moral stance. But yeah, do you have any particular? Did you have something you particularly wanted to bring up about it?
I was kind of interested. I was kind of interested in what kind of the conclusion was.
Well, there wasn't one conclusion. Obviously, that's kind of the problem with everyone Some people argue it's subjective. A bunch of us argue for forms of moral realism and deontological reality. And then there was a bunch of people arguing for a divine command theory or a religious morality. And I think it mostly ended up into a theistic argument about that and other dumb shit relating to that. As it usually does.
Well,
I mean, it depends if you're into that kind of stuff, but yeah.
kind of. Well, I'm really into just looking at what people think, like how people think. Sorry.
Fair enough.
Like kind of that's really the end. Like I kind of wish I was awake at that time, but I went to sleep really late.
I mean,
but
read through a lot. Look, it comes up all the time in text chats.
yeah,
We argue about morality like multiple times a week, so it's something. If you'll see it happen at some point.
Oh, hello.
that's fine.
Hey,
Still, I can't understand you again.
Also, his headset is off. I don't think he can even hear us.
He muted himself. Yeah, that's fine. Unless we have a problem. Like right now in debate chamber 2, they're arguing about free will and whether or not free will exists and other such things. You obviously know enough to. You must know a bit about it if you picked compatibilism.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, debate chamber 2 and one of the text chat. Is arguing about whether or not free will exists for someone else. He's a hard determinist, though.
Oh really?
I'm weakly a hard determinist, but I'm not sure where I'm actually not necessarily convinced by either. I'm somewhere between compatibilism and hard determinism. I don't know where.
To be fair, I'm probably the same. But I probably lean more towards compatibilism in like a in like a whole sense. But I'd have to write something to like structure a good argument. Otherwise I'll just like talk shit.
Fair enough.
But I know one of my favorite things actually is just like looking at how people think, because if you look at what people think, you have a pretty good insight into how people think and how people sort of differ. A lot of people they don't like to admit that their past experiences of life influence how they think and therefore influence their
Yes.
stances on certain fundamental questions of like things like philosophy. So it's just like I just really fucking like looking at how people think.
Well, this is a pretty good place to do it. We've got a lot of people that think pretty differently. It's more about if you could. I'm really interested in the justifications for why people think what they think more than anything else. Less of how they think about it and what their justifications are for their conclusion.
So is that what you usually try to find when someone states like a?
But that's what that's my personal focus.
That's pretty dope.
Well, more often than not, I find out a lot of people are making mistakes.
In what sense?
They don't really necessarily understand that they're not grounding themselves properly, or they're relying on presuppositions, or they're just making or they're relying on some factor which isn't really grounded within logical reason or something like that. and they're just kind of like, this is how I, and ultimately the justification rests on how they feel as opposed to anything else. And that's something I rather object to when, especially in like things like politics and philosophy and morality and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
you object to it.
Yeah, I find it objectionable. Like,
How come?
I think it's a thing we should not do. I think we should have very good justifications if we're going to advocate for things, morally and politically and ethically and such. We should have a very good reason to, and often people don't have good reason or good evidence to.
What do you think would like constitute as good reason or evidence?
Well, it depends on the topic. What good evidence and what good reason is differs from point to point. Some things you can rest on your preferences. Morality, it needs a very in-depth and complex series of justifications, and that ultimately rest on something. Right? But yeah, and I think like, but as to like why I don't like one thing or why I don't like it has to be pertinent to the issue basically, and basically adhere to reason and logic. It needs to be relevant and adhere to reason and logic. And those would be the main criteria. I don't like and you obviously like you're not making obvious fallacy, like working like whether or not if it's supported in like epistemology and that kind of stuff, like is a really good sign that you're probably making sense. That kind of stuff. That's what I'd consider pretty justified. Like,
yeah, I hear you.
More often than not, like a lot of people have no concept of like if you ask them. A big one is actually people's ability to define words. That sounds silly, and that it is what is actually it's semantics. But if people can't define words properly, they don't understand the ideas they're trying to put forward. And something I argue a lot about is like the concept of utility, and not many people know how to define utility properly, but they use it all the time as a word. Like, if you can't define it, do you really understand the idea?
Yeah, that's true.
That's a big red flag that someone is making a mistake when they can't define the word.
You're talking about when someone enters like a particular argument on a subject using that kind of idea without really being able to define the idea that they're using.
Yeah, well, they'll say, "Oh, this is bad because like thing X," and I'm like, "Okay, well, what's the definition of thing X?" And like, oh, I can't actually define it. Well, if you can't define it,
that's a huge problem.
You can't use it. Yeah, and often when you ask people to define concepts, they won't actually be able to.
Yeah, that happens more often than not.
Or they make up their own definition for it.
Yeah, that's an easy trap to fall into.
Well, some ideologies specifically rely on, like anarcho-capitalism. I don't know if you're familiar with anarcho-capitalism, but that's pretty.
Okay, that's the first time I've heard that. How is that
it's like extreme libertarianism.
Yeah,
and they redefine words like theft and violence to mean what they want.
I see. So that sounds really similar to something.
They use words like theft and violence because it's useful. It's rhetoric as opposed to
in any sense because I tend to stay away, and I've only started coming on this because, well, basically since that debate, because I fucking hate saying this, because and I like I choose not to be bothered to like enter any discussion
enough.
about it. But I'm a fan of Jordan Peterson, but not for like obviously the whole fucking play.
I mean, I'm
I'm
not,
not.
but InSync
Yeah.
is actually big. No, well, I'm not a fan of Jordan Peterson. However, InSync, who's arguing in Chamber 2, he's one of the server he's one of the server owners. Like he's actually a big fan of Jordan Peterson. So there are people that are fans of him here, and there are people that oppose that don't like him here. So we're pretty even. There's a split.
Yeah, that's the.
We just get hated for liking Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, no, I didn't talk about it too much. I fell into some like hot water sometimes. I was like, what the fuck is happening right
now? I don't like him on several. I don't think he's stupid. I just don't like his answers on certain things. But I think he's very good at some of the things he does, just not on everything.
I hear you. Well, I just got into the debate. He had this debate with Slavoj Zizek, and I listened to like a Slavoj Zizek lecture in this university, and I don't really fuck with it, to be fair, because I don't know, some things he said really stuck in my mind that had left like a bad taste in my mouth. But after that debate, like he says that he doesn't like the idea of wisdom, and I was like, what the fuck? And I listened to him after the debate with Jordan Peterson, and obviously I kind of just I was like, yeah, felt like I
didn't watch it myself.
Bro, yeah, I fucking paid for it and slept through the live stream. Paid for the live stream ticket, slept through the live stream, and then someone uploaded the whole thing on YouTube anyway.
Lucky.
But yeah, no, and then like after that, I just started just being interested in certain things because I have this dumb. I'm an idiot in this sense where I expect certain people, even though they have defining temperaments, like individual temperaments that influence their political ideals or philosophical ideas or moral reasoning or whatever. Everyone has like this one kind of place where they can like fall into. Everyone has this base mutual understanding, which is like a completely naive thing to have thought. That's why I never really got into a lot of discussions revolving around this thing. So I just didn't. Yeah, well, I didn't appreciate how vastly different everyone kind of basically. I mean, I always preach it. I always preach how everyone looks so much differently to life, but I didn't appreciate. I didn't actually like sort of practice what I preach. Like I just assumed everyone had a mutual kind of base for understanding. Maybe that's
no,
the case.
understanding is heavily different. Like I'm pretty sure my understanding of truth and morality and everything else is quite different to yours, and my conclusions of it are probably different again.
Yeah, that's weird. So that's why I kind of got into these kind of. I just started thinking, and there's a couple questions that there are a couple questions that I wanted to ask people in this server.
Oh yeah, what's up?
Well,
such as
I'm writing. Dude, there was this guy. Sorry, I do this a lot. I fucking you probably realize it the more I'm on here, but I fucking like segue into like fucking I segue on my segues of thoughts. It's ridiculous. But there was this dude on here last night. He was asking me and a dude called Mr. E some like crazy fucking questions, like really hard to answer questions.
What guy was it? What was the guy's
can't remember. American David, I think his name was. American Blake. Yeah.
That was his name. Was his name just David?
Yeah, that was.
David's a bit of a nutter.
Yeah.
Yeah, David's a little. He's smart, but he's super dude. He's like really confused about like everything.
I literally got all those things that you just mentioned from him. Yeah, like
He's really confused. But anyway, he's confusion aside.
yeah. Well, I thought it was pretty dope though, so because I was like, oh man, these are the right questions to be answered, but like, still, what the fuck?
Mr. E's
Um,
Mr. E's pretty polite, but he's not a fan of Mr. E's politics.
oh, for real?
Yeah, we argue politics a bit, so that's fine.
Yeah,
No, Mr. E's pretty cool.
yeah, he's dope. I've been speaking to him a lot lately. He's seems like a pretty sound guy. But yeah, no, I wanted to ask some questions relating to like I wanted to have like a conversation about like writing. And I realized lately I've been asking people, I've been like going on different forums and all that kind of stuff, Reddit and different kind of chats and whatnot. And it seems to be like a topic that a lot of people seem to be interested in, but don't want to have much of a conversation in
What about writing?
about. So basically, I'm writing this piece. It's just for myself, like an essay. And the argument of the essay is why writing a personal essay on any kind of subject would benefit uh, anyone who was to do so, right? And benefit them more than it would benefit someone who is doing it for a university grade or to, you know,
Yeah, because it would
contribute
allow
to.
formalization and crystallization of thought when you do it. You would have to you'd pursue your own interest, but it would allow you to formalize what you think on a topic. See, I know a number of people that do this already.
Really? Are they a lot? Some of them on here?
One of them
Or just
used to
people?
be on here. He no longer is, but yeah, he's related to these kind of communities. InSync is another person that does it.
Yeah.
Another friend of mine, Midnight on the server, does it a little bit as well. Midnight tends to do it. Midnight, InSync, do. I mean, you can look them up there on the side. Or InSync's not online right now, but he's
He just
when
was.
he's online, he's one of the owners.
Mm.
Midnight, he's like in Dynamic. Yeah,
Mm.
like really smart. I don't because I'm really lazy. I've done it occasionally, but mostly I'm too lazy to.
Mm.
That's
Mm.
my problem.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm gonna do it a lot more fun. I just wanna on like just random topics, like random ass topics, and I'm gonna try and make them as interesting as possible. But this one, I was kind of, I feel like I'm really close to because I became really close to because, like I said, I think writing is like difficult because you have to sort of discipline yourself and find it like the best way to get discipline is to find a good reason to do so. Um, and I feel like people find that the only good reason to do so is for the sake of a degree. Um, and I
Some
find
people
I
just,
huh?
I guess, some people just enjoy doing it for, I guess, like what they can get out of it. But yeah,
Mm, yeah. Hey, what's up, man?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I was just talking about like having conversation with people, why they think it would be good for just anyone to write essays on any topic that interests them. Um, I think a big problem is uh, a lot of people don't really know how to write essays. I mean, people who know how to write, right? But um, people don't know how to like basically structure an essay. And you know when you write something, like you know when you kind of wrote something for the first time, and you wanted to write, and if it wasn't like a fucking the next work of like Dostoevsky or some shit, or like fucking Shakespeare, you'd be like, oh no, I don't want to carry this on. I think people are kind of unwilling to let things be subpar for the sake of their own development, if you know what I mean.
somewhat.
Yeah,
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Like everyone expects certain things to be perfect, and that kind of, and when it's not that, it demotivates them. And that kind of takes away from any sort of. Because I feel like if writing was a little bit easier on just people's not time but willpower, I guess, like I feel like everyone would be doing it. But if everyone actually did do it, I feel like everyone would be a lot more self-critical. Everyone would be a lot more self-aware, and we would have a lot better conversations.
Well, there's
And
definitely there was a history of it, and then I think it died away a bit. But I think it's come back a lot with the internet, and there's a lot of public writing, and there's a lot of essays and articles, and I guess blogs and these other things. It's very similar to what you're talking about, I think.
mm, mm. I think you're right. Yeah, it does seem so. But I think even with that, I think it'd be really cool if people were to like just anyone, like just anyone were to like picking up a guitar and just playing it for the sake of playing it. I think everyone would benefit from just doing it, saving it on their laptop, and never looking at it again, or maybe looking at it like a year later. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of, I find it weirdly, and I feel like I'm a little close to it now, but I find it weirdly difficult to talk to people lately about it because it seems like everyone does have the same uh, respective outlook on it. Like, yeah, it does crystallize your thoughts and allow you to criticize your thoughts in a more effective and structured way. You can apply critical thinking to whatever topic you chose then and thereafter. Um, but I feel like there's, I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking for in it. Maybe I'm not looking for the right thing, but there seems to be no will for passion, of anything. If you know what I mean, like there seems to be no like, oh yeah, that's the case, but whatever. like people don't seem to think that it's important. And I think that's the point.
I think it's not. Well, people have to be convinced, obviously.
Hmm?
I said people have to be convinced of it, obviously.
Mm. That's true. Oh, it's such a great day. I don't even want to stay inside, man. I want to fucking go outside. The shit. We didn't get days like this in England. Like, much. We had a great summer last year, man.
Fair enough. I mean, if you like the warm weather, you should take
Do you not?
advantage of it while you can. What's that?
You said that so you didn't like. Yeah, sure. If you like that kind of thing.
My idea of warm weather is a bit different to you, do.
Oh, probably did. I don't know. We're at like
Okay,
19.
You can see
What?
19's not warm to me.
Yeah, see, exactly. We're at like 19
Above
degrees.
30, above 30, 32 is pretty warm. Hot
Shit, man.
for me is like above 35.
Fucking hell.
Really hot is above 40.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's
like,
crazy.
dude, like, you can't tell my accent. Like, yeah, I regularly deal with. That's my summer, but usually above 30.
Boy, yeah, man.
And often above 40, 35, 40.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, see, those days are not pleasant.
Yeah, get like heat stroke where it's like dangerous to go outside and shit, like actually physically
You
dangerous.
just don't go outside, dude. That's the trick. Or you wear a shit ton of sunscreen now.
Shit. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, I know. We get like 19. Hey, Google, What's the temperature right now? Hey Google, what's the temperature?
But
The
19
present
is like
temperature in Banbury is 23.
Yeah, so that's like we get like 19 to like 25, and everyone's tripping. We're like,
23.
oh shit.
23 is a pleasant day, but that's not like warm. That's just nice.
Yeah, that's like hot for us.
That's not hot.
Dude, people like complain at 23.
If it goes below like 20, it's like cool here or cold. Like it's like considered to be like really cool.
So, cool here for us is like 14.
Yeah, it doesn't get below freezing, so that's why.
Do you get a lot of natural storms and disasters and stuff? Like, yeah, like.
Not really. Oh, sometimes that's right. It's very chill here.
Damn. Where is it? New Zealand? Australia?
Australia. It's in Australia, to be specific.
Hmm.
Which is different to the other side of Australia.
Which side of Australia are you from?
I said Western Australia.
Oh, okay. How's it different?
Well, slightly different climate, and we've only somewhat different climate. We're more like a Californian or Spanish North African climate kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Hot, dry,
Okay.
cool in the winter, but not like really wet. No snow, never snows.
Damn. Yeah, no, I was talking to a good friend of mine from Perth. She said like she'd only seen the snow like twice in her life.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Did she have to leave the state to see it?
Yeah, I think so.
That's yeah, it's pretty normal.
I think I want to go to the pub. I think I want a glass of whiskey. I don't want to waste the sun. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna get a glass of whiskey. There's literally only a pub where I live. It's really sad. Like there's no stores. Like everyone has to go somewhere else for a store.
You live pretty rural or something? Or?
Yeah, I live just outside of my town. It's not too bad.
Okay.
Anyway, it's cool talking. I might come back later, but I'll see.
Yeah, cool, man. Like you've got some interesting stuff to talk about. So hopefully you see you around a bit more.
Cool. Yeah, man. For real. Hey, take it easy.
Are you still there, Terrence?
So I thought you had the bots for that.
We've been experimenting with live stream,
Oh, so.
and I think he was just testing it on YouTube. It was just like a testing. We do have the bot thing, which I think will be and that's a more high quality discussion. But some people have put forth that we should just like stream a lot. I don't really care. There's nothing I say that I wouldn't say anyway. So
Oh, sure.
what's that?
Sure, I see.
I mean, you can be recorded at any given time on Discord locally. You never know, right?
Yeah, you never know, but I mean,
You're not
I
recording
still
now.
try and limit it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
streaming,
sure.
recording, it's functionally the same thing, Terrence, because it usually stores a VOD of the stream.
Yeah.
Usually, streams are accessible even after the stream, right? Or it usually does
well,
record load.
usually, yeah. I don't know, I don't like being recorded, so that's...
You don't like being recorded, why not?
Why not? Because I don't fucking know, dude. Everyone says a lot of dumb shit, including myself. Don't want that shit out there.
I mean, you're already tanky, why would you care?
For that exact reason.
What? You're just another dude with like weird politics on Discord. No one's really gonna care. That's what, dude.
Yeah, hopefully. If that's the case, then no point in recording what I'm saying, right?
What's that?
If that's the case, then there's no real point in recording these conversations.
Yeah. Well, we record the debates because they're interesting. Terrence is just like streaming.
Yeah, I know.
There's no one
Yeah.
watching it, so it's not a big deal.
I know.
What other servers do you tend to use, by the way? I notice you're in CC and Destiny server. I don't think I've seen you in CC though.
I'm never in Destiny's CC. The Kelly? Yeah, I'm never in that one either.
Okay. Well, is that because they're just shit shows, or?
I mean, I joined Destiny's when I started watching his videos. So it's alright. I don't even know why I'm in the CC one. I think Class has asked me to join at one point for some discussion or something. I think I
Destiny.
But no.
I don't use his server, but I do like his content. I'm in it, but I don't. I prefer his YouTube videos.
Yeah, he has some pretty good YouTube videos. He has some like the fucking 3 hour long debates with like fucking retards. So pretty entertaining.
He makes a lot of fucking sense. To me, at least.
Yeah.
I find it funny when he argues against people who are abject retards.
Yeah. I think that's why. That's why most people watch him. At least for like the politics stuff.
Well, kind of the problem is that if he argues against someone smart, it's kind of just like they rarely disagree.
Yeah, but how often does he argue against someone who's smart? Like, it doesn't
He
really
doesn't
happen.
really argue, but I've seen him stream with smart people before.
Yeah.
Like YouTubers, like there was one I was watching. It's some guy called Dr. Lehman, and both of their audience expected them to like go at each other's throats, and they were like really polite for like just a couple of hours to each other. And they're just like, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Dr. Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Because Dr. Lehman's kind of pretty chill, and he's pretty chill, and it doesn't seem to be too stupid. And I guess the same could be said for Destiny mostly.